Ew. I'm so gross and smelly.
Hello, everybody. We're live. Hey,
One of
Pete.
Hi
us is
guys.
one
Hi,
of us is
Special Steve.
barely live.
Okay, so just to give me a bit of time to share the pod like we usually do. So, how are you guys?
It's Friday. Thank God.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. It's a
Uh,
nice day. Pretty cool
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah. It's a nice day, man. It's been raining the whole day, man. It's disgusting.
Nah, but
Well,
for us fans, that's the difference.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't wait to hear you on
Yep.
everything.
Yeah, we
Well,
didn't
I'm ready to
consult
start when
ourselves.
you
Huh?
are. Let's hustle.
Yeah,
Let's get her
I'm
in there.
I'm going as fast as I can, Eve. As fast as I can.
I'm
She's
like,
an
I'm like, I'm so
impatient.
ready.
She's
I've never been
impatient.
more ready in my life.
I'm
Hi,
almost done.
Jean-Francois.
Jeff, he's there.
Yes.
Hey, GF, I don't know if you heard last time, but Sam apologized to you, man.
He apologized to him at the stadium.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
but
was still feeling a bit bad, so I had to say it. Yeah.
so I don't think he was there last time, like on live. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe now since he's live, he knows that. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh man, I forgot to buy shallots at the grocery store.
Eve.
Sorry, these are the thoughts that crossed my mind, but you know what? It was one of those crazy days.
So yeah, it
Oh
was
my
so
gosh.
funny. Yeah, it was.
Bless you. Oh Lord.
Nice, nice. But it was nice
Okay.
to meet you. Um,
Yeah.
I got an
Not I
intro.
wouldn't
Don't forget,
recommend
eh?
that by the way.
No, no, that's not how you want to introduce yourself. But I guess that's what happened.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes. Strasbourg Steve just got out of work as well. Life is good. I feel you.
Hi,
What
Stressful
did you
Steve.
say, Sam? You told me something.
Yeah, I have an intro, like I usually do. So let's
Of
not
course.
forget it for the
I
episode.
will never forget your intros, man.
Because I work
Come
hard on
on.
Mm-hmm.
them. I work
Come
hard on
on. You should trust me a bit more, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm about to be ready. If you give me just a few seconds, and
God, you're
I'll
asking for a
be.
lot, I gotta tell you.
I know, man. I know, man. I'm like, it's unbelievable. I'm
Some
so
spoiled.
demanding. I'm so
Yeah.
demanding, really. My
Yeah.
wife will agree with you.
Yeah, that I believe.
Chan's
uh,
Chan's already in on fire. I see.
oh,
Okay, it's gonna
wow.
be an
Okay.
interesting one, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Let's do
yeah.
this. Okay, so I'm kind of ready. So if you want to
You
start, let's do this.
Let's go.
get her
Okay.
done.
Good. So let's start with the countdown as usual, guys. And we can't wait, so it won't be too long.
Hello, my friends. My name is Samuel Savy. Friday, the 27th of May, CF Montreal has a new logo. Welcome to this emergency episode of The Ball is Round. I'm joined by my friends Yves Paul and Adzi Raphael for this. I think it's the second emergency episode in our history, but I think it was the good decision to go for an emergency one
Mm-hmm.
today because there's so much to say, and we wanted to give our impressions like still hot,
Yeah.
still just out of the
Our hot
of the
takes.
oven. Exactly. So here we are. So how are you guys?
Fine, man. Fine. As Eve said, it's Friday, but for me, yesterday was Friday because I took the day off today to go to go live at the press conference, and it was really amazing.
Excellent.
Eve, you're good?
Yeah, I'm good. It was definitely a lot of anticipation all week long. So I'm kind of, when you're on that high of tension of waiting and waiting and waiting, and now, aside from the heat and the humidity, I'm on that like roller coaster down of relief.
Yeah, and one thing coming up to this day is that there weren't any leaks. I didn't see any leaks of the logo. So, until the very moment that Gabriel Gervais unveiled it, I had no idea what was going on. I don't know if you guys saw something, but I saw absolutely nothing that could suggest that what the logo would be come today.
Yeah, I gotta say they did a really good job of keeping it under wraps. Like, obviously in 2021, there was kind of a partial leak shortly before, but they did a really good job of keeping it under wraps this time around. And I guess that's kind of one of the advantages of doing this mid season as well is. Like there was other stuff on the go that maybe people couldn't investigate as hard as they normally would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and don't forget that they did do a preview or a
Yeah.
pre unveiling yesterday, right? So a lot of people could be tempted to really leak some information or go through weird routes in order to leak some information, and nothing leaked, and that's remarkable because that means that all the people that really went and saw the new logo were behind the organization, were behind the whole concept of
Yes,
keeping
exactly.
it secret, and
Or they
and
signed non-disclosure agreements.
either or,
Maybe.
how
Yeah.
many times we've seen people sign NDAs and still find a way to leak something. It happened so many times throughout history. It didn't happen this time. So that means that somehow or somewhat, they're all behind the idea of that being a surprise for today. And I think I like it.
Yeah, and today was the most anticipated day in a long time in the history of the club. And this morning, as the media gathered at Centre Nutrilet to be presented the new logo by Joey Saputo and President Gabriel Gervais, Hady Raphael was there too. And how was the mood over there before the presentation started when you were at Centre Nutrilet? How was it, man?
Listen, I think everybody was kind of eager to see what the club was going to present. They were really interested. I arrived there maybe 5 minutes before they started, so I didn't have time to arrive earlier, unfortunately. But I mingled a bit. I talked with a lot of people, and yeah, it seemed that everybody was very curious, and not curious in an exciting way, and like, I guess I can't wait. More like, you know what? I don't know what to expect, and let's wait and see. But you can see in the way they talk that it was kind of the topic of the day for them, and
Duh.
with but not only because usually you see the same 20 some journalists, or sometimes 10 out of 20 or 15 out of 20. Today there was a lot. There was a lot.
How many
of
were you guys?
journalists.
About 40, 50 maybe? Or?
I didn't count them, but yeah,
More
I
than
would say-
usual?
yeah, I would say between 30 and 40 because you have to add all the cameramans because
Yeah.
it was filmed by a lot of I didn't count how many cameras there were, but yeah, there was a lot of people, and it was very, very interesting to see all those people really trying to cover the CF Montreal today.
Yeah, and the presentation itself started with an address by Joe Saputo in which he stated that the months following their rebranding were extremely difficult, and that following the backlash that happened after the rebrand, the club had the desire to reconnect with the past and most importantly with their fans. Joey then proceeded to remind the fundamentals of the mission of the club and reminded that the objective was never to make profit, it was to give back to the community. He then stated that the rebrand was not to move away from the mission, but to reposition the club for growth. You guys saw, so Hady, you were there. Eve, you saw it. Joey Saputo looked as relaxed as we've seen him in years. Did you have the same feeling as I? And what did you make
Yeah.
of his speech? I'll start with you, Eve.
Yeah, so obviously I agree with you completely, Sam, that his vibe was a lot more relaxed. Obviously last year at rebrand version 1.0, he appeared just via video, but even then, like, it almost felt like a hostage video. And I mean, circumstances in the world, pandemic wise and stuff, were definitely more stressful then too, and we'll give him credit there. But yeah, he was, and even he was wearing a blazer and jeans, which is
Yeah,
kind
and
of
some
a
nice
more
kicks.
relaxed
Yeah,
look, a casual Friday.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I mean, when we've seen him at the tailgate, which was like still for me a really remarkable event, some of the members from 127 like did mention to him the impact that the rebrand had on our group, and he was really open, really friendly, really approachable, and it felt almost an entirely different person, because when you would see him at the stadium last season, like he rarely had a smile on his face or anything. But and maybe it was just cameras caught him at a bad time, or like if you were in the stands and he was still on the pitch, it would be a bad time. I don't know, sun's in his eyes. But either way, I thought his body language looked way more relaxed, and I thought his facial expression was more relaxed. I completely agree with you, Sam, in your assessment that it seemed to be relaxed and chill and positive.
And our friend Roberto Tiranardi, says a big burden off his shoulders. Do you agree, Eddie?
It looked like it. There's a few things. Of course, I'm trying to interpret exactly what he said, and trying to read between the lines and everything. But at one point, he was asked if he was going to be a bit more involved with the organization, and his answer was a bit weird, because he said it seemed like we have now the right people at the right positions, and he said now. So I don't know. It seemed like there's something that he didn't like before. Maybe he wasn't wanted. Maybe he was given some sort of. And again, I'm not in the secrets. I don't know exactly what's going on. In the background, but it seemed like maybe he was kind of forced to get in the background and not really intervene, forced by maybe the person that was hired, telling him, what, you're hiring me, but if you're hiring me, you need to back up, so
Maybe there was conditions, yeah.
maybe there was conditions, I don't know, but he seemed like saying that, what, I'm back in the picture now. Of course, the main guy that's going to decide is going to be Gabriel Gervais, and he said it like out loud. He said, but you know what? I'm here in case they need me. I'm very comfortable being here, and that's something that's very interesting. And of course, he said, I have to be here because I'm the one that's representing the ownership. So that he's not the only owner, right? At least it's important not to forget that he's not the only owner, but he's the one that represents the owner. So I kind of like it, because he seemed, like you guys said, a bit more relaxed, and like Robbie said, a burden off his shoulders. I could clearly see it.
Like, he wasn't even behind a podium or sitting down. Like, he was
Yeah.
standing up, in
Yeah.
front of everything. And I think there's something to be said even for that. As
Yeah.
apparently body language expert Eve.
Yeah, but if you remember last year, in the presentation, he had like a small, square in on the top of
Yeah.
the thing, where he was like,
Zoom.
sitting like, okay, what am I doing here, right? Like, he
Yeah.
wasn't really present, right? Now he was like, at the same level as Gabriel Gervais, and it's weird. He's the owner. He's the one that should be, I don't know. He's the
So
one that
that-
should be
yeah.
the face,
But one
right?
one
As much
thing
as he
that,
wants.
yeah, no, that's a fact. But what thing that stood out to me was that you see a synergy between he and Gervais. There's a nice complicity. There's some chemistry between these two, and it talks a lot when you see them so in tune in the press conferences, and how willing one was to let the other one take center stage and go back and forth. So it didn't look really like prepared. It looked like two people that agreed about how it was gonna be, but let's just wing it and trust ourselves, and it came out well for me. I'm gonna move on to Gabriel Gervais because he then took center stage and continued Joey's train of thought with the club and the mission. The role and the mission of the club. An interesting moment was when Gabriel Gervais presented the values of the club, in which there were inclusivity, memory, passion, ambition, collectivity, and talent.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, there you go. So you see, so those who are riding with us live on video, you can see it. For those who missed it, so every core value of the club led to impact.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. What did you make of it?
Obviously there are so many people out there who are still really, 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 really attached to the Impact name. And they have definitely been extremely clear that CF Montreal is the name officially. So like obviously that's the name that's on the logo for sure. But I think it's just another attempt from them to acknowledge that historic name that means so much to so many people who have followed this club for any amount of time. But I found it cool that they managed to work the letters in there. God love them. Like, good job with your thesaurus.
Hady.
It's intelligent. It's clever. That's exactly what you want to see, right? In a way, they're not going to change the name back, and they made that very clear. Okay, but at least Joey Saputo, in the first question that he was asked, was like, "Are we going to see the name Impact again?" And again, he said, "You know what, guys? It can be a nickname. I don't mind. I don't mind that the name Impact is repeated and is something that really follows CF Montreal. It's something that he doesn't mind at all." And the previous regime didn't, but he's very open to that, and that's, I think, a big step forward. The second thing that's really interesting, also, I don't want to read too much into words, but it looked like it's a possibility that the name comes back in a certain way. Don't forget, guys, that Gabriel Gervais talked about the mission altogether. He talked about those values, but he said now the important thing that we need to find, the mission and the values and everything, we need to put them all in one sentence, because you need to have that motto, right? And maybe in the motto we'll find an impact again. And I think that would be a nice way to reintroduce the term impact to the club and to the fans. So I'm very curious, because from now until 2023, we're going to have, other steps that will need to be taken. And, maybe Impact will be a part of those steps.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. Before unveiling the logo, Gervais proceeded to explain how they would practically put into work the core values of the organization, then explained how the snowflake logo created a separation with the historic elements presented in the previous logos since 1993. That was interesting, because he really put it out in, on the kind of PowerPoint, and you could see how much of a clash that snowflake logo was, and he acknowledged that was good. Before we really jump into the logo talk, and we'll show it, we'll analyze it ourselves. How did you find Gabriel Gervais' presentation? His communication skills and how he interacted with his audience, guys.
He's a good public speaker, for sure. I think he has a lot of charisma. I think he is somebody who knows the audience that he's talking to. He's obviously talking to a group of supporters, he's talking to media, he's talking to corporate partners, and kind of all at the same time. So he managed to kind of keep his message relatively simple while still hitting kind of some of those key business terms as far as the values and what they aim to represent as a brand in the community.
Yeah, and what I like about the narrative behind, Gabriel Gervais being president, and he's always pushing for the same narrative. He's always saying, you know what, I bled blue and white. I bled for the club. I'm someone that really knows and a big part of the history of the club, and he always repeats that since he was presented, since he was given the position, he always repeats that, and that's something that's a complete opposite that what we've seen on the 14th of January 2021, right? Complete opposite, and we see that the club or the franchise is really trying to get a new start, and he embodies that new start, and he does it very well. He does it very well.
Yeah, and it's getting a new start, but it's getting a new start by going back to what was so important to your supporters, probably to some of the corporate partners as well. So it's kind of like, you have to go back to go forward. And so I appreciate that he has that connection to the past in order to be able to look forward with the business acumen. Oh, Chan, I know.
Chan hits us with Olympique de Marseille cannot be Club de Football Marseille. Why we change our club's name? Oh, man.
Okay, so literally, I'm just going to put it out there. Basically, my number one role in representing TBIR and other podcasts has been to spread the good word that it's not Club de Foot anymore.
Yeah, I heard you, Eve. I heard you. Listen to you.
I did that when I visited Wes. Yeah. I did that when I visited Michael McCall. I did that when I visited Steven and the Cincy crew. I've just been trying to spread the word because it's not really clear to anyone because there was never an official announcement. So sorry, Chan, I know that's not really addressing your point, but I just wanted to put it out there that it's not Club de Foot for anybody outside of Montreal listening.
Something I wanted to shout out Gabriel Gervais for is that I think, his presentation, it was kind of less is more, He kept it simple, kept it cool, but what I appreciated the most is that he trusted the intelligence of his audience.
Yeah,
which was absolutely not what happened on the 14th of January 2021.
Oh my God.
So I didn't have the impression that I was sitting in an elementary school class with the two teachers trying to, explain me something that I had no idea what it was. So I really liked how Gabriel Gervais addressed it, and really, you could see that they learned from the previous catastrophic presentation.
No, they're decisions. They're not mistakes. They're decisions. That's the word Joey used.
Yeah. So Gabriel Gervais really took it the right way, and like you said, he presented it as he had to his audience, to the fans, to the corporate members, to the journalists. Everyone could find himself in the way he was speaking, and that was excellent.
Poor Hady wants to talk.
Yeah, go ahead, Eddie.
They didn't really hide behind the presentation of 2021. They were very clear, saying that maybe the message is kind of the same. It's just that the way it was communicated in 2021, that was the problem. Well, so, admitting that it was a problem communicating the message, and that came from the mouth not only from Gabriel Gervais, but also from Joey Saputo. Mm-hmm. And that's very, very interesting because a lot of people I've been reading, social media, and a lot of people are like, oh, they should apologize. You know what? He did. Let's move on, because kind of he did apologize for not being very clear with the communication, with the way that things were done, with trying to erase the past of the club.
I wouldn't say he apologized. I would say he acknowledged.
Yeah, I think that's the right
way. But what are you expecting? I'm sorry, and you want
no, but
and never gonna see that from
no, exactly, right? Which is why I'm saying I think the better term would be acknowledged.
Yeah.
For me, it's one of the same. Because
to me it's very much not the same thing.
Yeah, but I can't expect an apology from an owner.
No.
I can't. So
it would surprise me immensely if a literal "I'm sorry that this was so poorly handled" came out of anyone's mouth. But the fact that they can say it could have been done better is definitely a realization that they handled it poorly. But at the same time, they're just not using the words of "we're sorry, we regret, please forgive us," whatever.
Yeah, it's the next best thing you can expect from a CEO or a president. So it was, I think it was dealt with okay today. After that, Adi, you can shoot it on the screen. The logo was presented, and there you go. This is what we saw. Hady, I have a question.
Yeah.
why that long, awkward silence in the press room when they
Yes.
finished
Oh
showing
my
it?
God, that was gonna be my question for
I was
Hady.
like, okay, they all hate it, or what's wrong with it?
I know. I was like, oh.
Even Gabriel Gervais said, okay, guys, you can applaud if you want to.
I was like, is
Yeah,
there more?
but guys, I think that maybe even Gabriel Gervais is not used to be in a media environment, right?
Mhm.
As media, we're supposed to be neutrals. We're not fans.
Yeah.
We're covering the club. We're not supposed to have. Yes, we have our own ideals and our own opinions and stuff, but our job is to cover the club, is to just relate the information,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So even if we like it or not, we're not gonna publicly show it, and I think I've been clear, since even the 14th of January 2021, and here on TBIR, I think I've been clear. We talked about the presentation once, we gave our opinion, and then we moved on.
Yeah, we moved on. Yeah,
We
absolutely.
moved on. Why? Because I was gonna move on. So if you wanted to really talk about it, I would have taken a step backwards and I would have let you talk about it, because my job concerning the presentation was done. So it's the same thing. You're presenting a new logo to a media crowd. There's no, like, you can't expect any applause or anything. Like,
Yeah,
people were like applauding because they had to, but
Well,
that's not.
they were told to.
Yeah,
But that's
I know.
exactly.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
But I think it's the person who was the most surprised by that long, awkward silence was Gabriel Gervais.
Yeah,
He
of
was
course.
like,
He's
oh,
not
Oh,
used to
I love it. I love it. Hold on. Pierre's Team Eve. I'm
I
so
have to
sorry. I'm
agree
coming
with
back to
Eve.
this because you know my feelings about being right. Thank you,
acknowledging
Pierre
those
Mayotte.
different- So they're arguing about semantics again. That's
I love
the
semantics.
normal feature of the show. But yeah, hi Pierre. Love to see you on the
Yes,
chat. man.
thank you
Nice-
so much for
nice
your
to see
hi.
you.
I just
And thank
wanna
you for
add
being
one
right.
last thing. Yeah. Eve is always right, guys. And just to let you know, I'm just giving it back to you. I agree. It was weird for journalists to applaud from
Yeah.
Max Rokotatansky.
No, I
I'm
completely
right.
agree. That,
Yeah. No, but to come back to one thing that I wanted to say, if you were expecting a reaction, you should have invited a crowd supporters. You should have invited maybe sometimes you have the new city gas that were used for some for the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They could have rented the new city gas or any other
True.
a venue and invited season ticket members or invited prestige members, or they could have invited the partners or anybody, and then you would have had a reaction. But media
Okay.
are not supposed to show any kind of emotion, right?
Even though some media members already have in the press, God love them. But lots of media members have feelings, and we respect them for that because they're humans too.
Yeah,
But like you
for
said,
sure.
yes. Thank you,
Thanks for Luis.
Luis.
We'll see you
thanks, Luis.
tomorrow, Luis.
Yes.
Thanks for
Yes.
the nice words.
Preceding the presentation of the logo itself, there was the explanation. And it was really well explained. They did a presentation too. We have it. You have it, Hady or Eve, right? We'll put it on the
Yeah.
screen.
I'm like, I
Of
have
course.
what? Almost like my face.
So there were eight elements that were very important for the club and that were highlighted in that logo. So there's a circle, there's the shield, there's the fleur de lis, there's 1993, CF Montreal in French. That's the sixth element. There's the color blue and the blue and black stripes. Very short explanations, very simple explanations that everyone can find himself ease. I wanted to know, guys, which element in particular do you like the most out of the eight highlighted, and maybe the one that you like the least, if any?
Do you want to see it to Eve, or are you good?
I can see.
No, but like, do you want me to remove it or to
Oh no, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
we can keep it. We can keep it up if
Yeah,
you
keep
want.
it on, Hedy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah. So,
All right.
Eve, go ahead.
So I'm really grateful that the Shield is back, and I'm also really grateful that the Fleur de Lis is back. And I'm sorry, I don't know if you pronounce the S or not at the end. I sincerely apologize.
I always said Fleur de Lis, but I've heard both.
The right way is Fleur de Lis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fleur de Lis is a very ancient way of pronouncing it.
So both are
but Fleur de Lis in French.
Well, I'm kind of feeling like an old lady today, so.
Okay.
Okay. I'm very happy that the symbol of the nation of Quebec is back. How's that? And really, really pleased to see that, because it is an acknowledgement, I think, of the 2012 crest, which was loved really universally throughout the league. And I just want to say quickly to Louise, please say hi anytime. If Montreal score a goal, I might accidentally hit you, but I probably won't be holding a drink, so I'll do better than Sam did. But no, please say hi anytime, Louise. Yourself, your wife, whomever, and that's anyone as well listening. I'm very friendly, even when I'm not right. I try to be friendly. Those rare instances. I'm also grateful that they brought back the quote-unquote impact blue.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought that Sacre Bleu thing last year was ridiculous and absurd, and got a chant. I've seen you say it like a couple of times, and that was the first thing I thought of when I saw Impact Blue. I was like, oh, thank God they... I think the fact that they mentioned that specifically was clearly clearly to make a separation from that ridiculous.
Yeah, from the Sacre Bleu. Yeah.
Because I mean, so many people were making fun of that, right?
Yeah.
So many people, and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like round logos are just an MLS thing right now, so I'm just gonna roll with it, whatever. And I'm really grateful to see the color white back, because for me, it's always been bleu, blanc, noir. I could never get behind Sacre Bleu, Noir d'Impact, and something about ice, gray. I could never get behind that, but I can always get behind bleu, blanc, noir.
Absolutely.
And those are my feelings. Thank you.
Hady, give yours.
Okay, I'm gonna give a few ideas. First of all, I understand the circle, because we have to understand that we're in franchise in a league. Being a franchise in a league, and Gabriel Gervais did, trying to explain it very well by saying that, we have to find some sort of uniformity within all the logos in the league. So I kind of understand it, but I love the fact that we kept the shield. I love it because you guys know that I love medieval times, so it kind of speaks to me, because, and I love the explanation too of the shield, symbol of strength and defense, represents our determination and resilience. And for me, it's kind of a link with the history of CF Montreal, or the Impact. We were a counter-attacking team. And your shield represents that counter-attacking team, the defense that's really really defending everything to not be scored on, right? And I like that. It's kind of a link to the past. I like that. And the second thing that I really love is the date, the 1993. I love it. First of all, because it shows that we've been here for a while. Second of all, it shows the determination that Joey Saputo had, and the fact that he put his hand on the table, saying, what, I want this to be on the logo, and the league didn't want to, because it's earlier than the league, and the fact that at the end Joey Saputo won the argument. For me, it's something that really speaks a lot, and it gives me that soccer vibe, right? Like, all the clubs that I know have their foundation date on their logo, most of them, and I like that, because it shows that we have history. So that's the two things that I learned now, and that I really liked. Now, of course, there are others, but the main two are here. Sam?
Yeah, no, the date. I love the date, and I'll explain why. First time I went to to see the impact. We were still playing at Claude Robillard, and it kind of gives me like the vibe that all these years that you've been following this team, and we've went through thick and thin with this team, and ups and downs, and all sorts of emotions is not something that we have to be forgotten. That there's not that separation, and I really love that Joey Saputo found that it was important, because it kind of brings back the first love of that club that we all had, that first moment that you said, oh, I really like this club, and I'm gonna invest my time and my money and my emotions in this club, and I think it was a beautiful touch to this logo. Of course, the fleur de lis is amazing. I think it was one of the strong points of the Shield logo, and for sure the blue and black stripes. It's cool because like it said, it refers to the early years of the club, so it goes
And the
hand in
most
hand.
banging jerseys.
Yes, yeah, and it goes hand in hand with the 1993 thing. So the amazing jerseys, like you say, Eve, the striped blue and black jerseys, and the throwback to the early days of the club. It's amazing for me.
Yeah.
I know it's not one of the features, like the 8 features that are on the logo, but I just don't really understand the circle behind the shield.
Yeah.
That's
Robbie
the
said
only
the
thing.
same thing,
Robbie
actually.
said the same thing.
Yeah, and
Oh, did he?
I've seen a lot of people in passing say it.
Yeah, I said it, Robbie. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no worries. I wonder if it would look like too much two-dimensional without the circle behind it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know where I'm
I
going
feel
with
you.
that?
I get you. Yeah.
It would be kind of empty without the
Yeah,
circle.
it would be a bit. Yeah.
It's like somewhere in between busy and empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, but to be really, really 100% honest, when I saw it, when it like popped on the screen this morning, I was like not too sure. I was like, I like it, I don't love it, but the more I look at it, the more I read, the elements of it, the more I understand the synergy between every element. It's growing on me a lot, and I'm really liking it more and more. So so I think they did a good job. So guys, I'm gonna ask you really like straightforward: is this a hit or is it a miss by the club?
It's a hit for me.
It's a hit.
Yeah, it's a hit for me too.
Yeah, me too. And I had the reflection. Then I was saying, if they had rebranded the shield for this logo, probably the reaction would have been a bit more mitigated.
I think rebrand 2021, it was just so much all at once that I think it was probably too much for most. I don't want to say most isn't fair. I think for the people who struggled a lot with it, I think there was the name, there was the weird pretentious presentation, there was the super duper Montrealish logo, like not as much reference to Quebec as a whole. And so I kind of think it was a whole lot all at once. Also, I hate winter, so for me, I was like, please don't remind me of the winter. Also, global warming. So our nordicité is like, yeah, whatever by this point. So I think 2021 version, it was like there were just so many things that any number of them could have been the straw that broke the camel's back for the 2021 edition.
Yeah, it was gonna be hard to miss as much as we missed in 2021.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure.
I think anything could be better than what happened in 2021.
Other than like more snowflakes.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of being one snowflake, we're like 3 now.
Yeah.
No.
I'd be like, oh no.
But no, but the fact that, again, I think the fact that the narrative again is focused on our past, on our history. I think it's something that really speaks to the fan.
Yeah.
And I really like it. There are some bad, I would say bad / funny comments. I'm gonna share one.
Some takes.
soccer analyst Ottoman. These new hats will make great team merch if you ask me. Oh, yeah.
It's called soccer. I like that. uh,
But like just being a hat with
yeah,
the
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. Okay,
that's
yeah.
funny.
it's kind of
Like you just
sombrero. Yeah,
yeah.
you
Well,
see
for
the
me,
shield being
it's
like
almost
up.
like you have like a little door and you open it and you're like, it's called
Exactly.
soccer. Oh, oh,
We
that's
had a
so
few
cute.
more, Eddie, right?
Huh?
We had a
Uh,
few more tweets,
yeah, we
right?
had comments. That's just the picture that I wanted to share
Mm-hmm.
first. So that's really nice. And
Mm-hmm.
one last thing that I wanted to add that I forgot to say earlier. Um, you all know me, guys. I like the cartoonish kind of vibe, right? And I feel that that logo has a cartoonish vibe, and like it
Yeah,
because of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
yeah,
it's less formal than something really like we're an
yeah,
enterprise, we're a company.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
It's
it's like
very
not a
relaxed and
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So for me, um, I thought the other one had too many straight lines, too many rigid
yeah.
lines, and it was like very like I felt almost like it was military-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful to see a lot of curvature, roundness of the logo border itself aside.
Yeah.
That's
Eddie,
So
my
do you want
weird
me?
take. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, but it is something important because there is a very aesthetic part to it, and that's something
Mm-hmm.
that the snowflake didn't have at all. So yeah, it's a hit for that too. Hadi, we
Yeah.
had a few tweets
Yeah.
that we wanted to share, right?
Yeah. So let's
Go ahead.
start with our friend of the show, Eric Chenois.
Hi,
Because
Eric.
because Eric says, and I'll translate it because he said it in French. So he said it's a nice logo that will easily be accepted by all. They played it safe, but the objective was reached. We bring back the impact without bringing back the name.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair point Eric makes
Mm-hmm.
here, right, guys?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I would have been really surprised to see a logo that departed drastically from like the 2012 version or previous versions. Um, I would have been really, really surprised to see like an element other than the fleur de lis returning, like some other element we'd never seen before. I would have probably fallen out of my chair in shock.
Yeah. I have nothing more to add.
But
No, but like Eric said it right.
yeah,
Uh, I don't think anybody was expecting the impact to be back because Zoe Saputo and Rabia Jarvis said that it's not going to be back. But I like his comment because it feels like the essence of
yeah,
the club is
Yeah.
back.
And
yeah.
if I may, speaking purely for myself personally, I do hope that Impact returns in like some visual elements, be it within the stadium, be it in the New Jersey, be it in perhaps the future motto of the club, whatever it is. I do hope to see a visual kind of acknowledgement of the name Impact because it means so much to so many people.
The interesting thing with how they handled it this time around is that they didn't throw everything out. You know that there is other stuff that are gonna come, and I think they very intelligently, went step by step. And okay, we put the logo out. We'll look at the feedback. We'll look at what the people say because clearly, the fans' voice was very, very important in all of this process. Okay, clearly they understood. They were on Twitter, they were on Instagram, they were on Facebook, looking at the feedback that people were giving, and they took notes. So now, if people go out there and say, "I hope the impact will be somewhere. I hope the impact will be in the moto. I hope impact will be," yeah, maybe we will see because clearly the club is listening in general to the feedback that fans are giving on
Mm-hmm.
social media, which is good. Um,
I
Hadi,
can.
you wanted to add?
No, I wanted. We have other tweets
Yeah,
that
go
I
ahead.
can. Yeah. So Steve Mishala.
Steve
That's
Mashala says, very interesting. I'm gonna have to sit with it for a bit. I like that they at least tried. I
Mm-hmm.
had I was exactly like you, Steve,
Yeah.
this morning. I had to sit with it a bit for it to grow on me, but it finally did. So maybe it will be the same for you. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, on my behalf, I said a bit earlier,
Mm-hmm.
when it just jumped out of the screen, I wasn't too sure, man. I was like, okay, it's. I was like 5 on 10 in my heart, but as the day went on, and I've looked at it more. It's better and better. Jeff Cote, our friend, says they used to show the letters on the screen when the supporters was chanting the 6 letters. I hope they do that
Yeah.
again. That's a nice.
I hope so
Yeah,
too.
thing,
yeah,
man.
that's cool.
I hope so
I
too.
like that. I like that. And it's so cool when the whole or not the whole stadium, because we'll never get everyone to chant. But it's so cool when like a lot of people do it as well, because the metal shakes and everything. It's cool.
And last tweet that we had was for our friend of the show, also Alexander
Alex.
Gange
Alex
Rizek.
Gange. And Alex Gange says, and a careful lesson for anyone rebranding, don't forget history and consult the right parties before giving it a go. Imagine they went with this from the
Oh
beginning.
my god. How much time and money and gray hairs and headache and
Frustration,
upsetting phone calls.
complaining. Yeah, it's there would have been a lot spared with having the right approach from the get-go. Absolutely. And we'll have Alex on our show on Sunday. We'll definitely ask him what he thinks. We'll ask him to develop a bit on his feelings on the logo. So that's going to be cool to have him on. Hady, following the presentation, there was a question and answer session. Did anything stand out to you? Don't talk about the relocation stuff, because I want to address it. But did anything else stand out during the Q&A?
You mean the Q&A with Joey and Gabriel Gervais?
Yes,
because there
exactly.
was the press conference afterwards, also the pre-game press conference with Fred Nancy and Samuel Piet.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to stop really quick because I liked Marco's thought. Marco said maybe something like EMFC embroidered in the back of the neck. I like that idea.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love it.
Yes.
I think he talked about it on Twitter at one point, and I loved it. I saw it. I think it was Marco that really mentioned it, and I really loved the idea too. I really loved it.
Agreed.
Now, in the questions that were asked to Joey Saputo and to Gabriel Gervais during after the presentation, in my opinion, nothing really stood out.
There was one thing that gave me hope, if I may. But when you finish first.
Go ahead.
One of the questions I know, and I'm not sure. Sam, I'm so sorry if I step on your toes, but they did address the fact that basically improvements to the stadium is kind of like the next thing on the menu. It sounds like.
Yeah.
That's not what they said.
Okay.
Sorry, I was there. That's not exactly what they said.
So go ahead, Hady.
Well, I listened, but okay.
He said that the next step will be to establish, to make sure that the mission is in one sentence, and. He said that he wants to make sure that he improves the fan experience. That doesn't mean the stadium. That doesn't mean renovations in the stadium. Maybe that's going to be animation. Maybe it's going to be more food. Maybe it could be anything, right? And that's why he used fan experience. And it's very important because I don't want to,
okay, fair enough.
Some words in their mouth,
no,
right?
no, and you're correct because I definitely made the leap. So good call, Hady. I will give you credit for being right.
Oh wow!
Oh my god!
Wow. Okay, guys, let's
No,
celebrate. Let's celebrate.
We're gonna have to get like a sound effect for that whenever I give. Yeah.
I noted it down, so we'll have an anniversary next year.
What was it? Yeah, there we go. The one time you've admitted it. No, that's a good point. Like, I definitely think a huge part of the fan experience is the experience at the stadium. And you're correct for sure that, I don't know about, I don't want to speak for it because I can't speak for everybody's experience at the stadium. So, but I can speak that toilets are nice.
So there was a question that kind of touched on the potential relocation of the club. Do you remember, Hady, who asked that question? Which journalist asked the question?
Which question? Sorry.
Which journalist asked the question about relocating the club?
I think Olivier Brett, if I'm not
Olivier Brett.
mistaken.
So I wanted
Yeah.
to give him the credit because I like this question. So Olivier Brett asked the question about the potential relocation of the club. Yes, it was Olivier Brett. You're right, Eddie.
Yeah.
What did you make of Joey Saputo's answer? Because he turned it towards the fans, and he kind of did that often in the past. Always, well, it's gonna depend on the fans, on if people go to the stadium, if people acknowledge the club in the city. And were you a bit disappointed that Joey Saputo didn't absolutely squash talks of a relocation and said, "Listen, there is no way my club is moving from Montreal. We're here to stay. Ride with us now."
If you don't mind, Eve, I'm gonna answer first on
Well,
this one, if
that's
you
what
don't
I
mind,
assumed
because
you would do. Go to town.
I have two opinions, and that's the two train of thoughts that I always struggle with. I have my media opinion, and I have my fan opinion,
So
and
you have
my
the
fan
angel and the
opinion.
demon.
Yeah, exactly. They're both on my shoulders, right? And
Yeah.
then they're just yapping, right? Now the fan opinion is very simple. Like, yes, I'm exactly like you, Sam. I would have loved him saying, you know what? No, we're staying here. We're here to stay. We're Montrealers and stuff like that. But like my media opinion, my media train of thought was, at the end of the day, we all know that Joey Saputo and all the ownership are not happy about the turnout that we're seeing at the stadium. They're not happy about the bad publicity that the rebranding has made. They're not happy about the turnout of events, and they want more. And so it's normal to say, at one point, if it keeps on being negative and it keeps being a pain in the sorry, Gail. A pain. If it keeps on being a pain, at one point, if he has an offer and an offer that's interesting and everything, you can't rule it out, because you're a businessman at the end of the day. So so he can't rule
A
it out
businessman who was
completely.
not there to make any profit.
But that's normal. And you know what? Don't forget that the club was a non-profit organization for a
Yeah,
bit of time,
it
right?
was, yeah,
But
So
absolutely.
so they became, because they you can't really join the MLS if
Yeah.
you're a non-profit
no, of course.
And
organization,
Joey
right?
Saputo stressed that a lot in his
Yeah,
presentation.
yeah,
Yeah,
But he
that's good.
did.
Yes.
yeah,
Especially around the time that he took his step back. He talked about wanting the club not to be in the red.
yeah.
So it feels like he's also kind of come back around to the realization that it's not really what owning a sports team is all about.
Yeah, and if I read between the lines, he's just saying, you know what? I don't mind not making money, but I just don't want to lose that much, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? It's fair.
Fair enough,
It's
yeah.
fair. You can't expect him to always be the one that's losing millions and millions a year in, year out, right? So I kind of
don't
understand
know.
his answer.
I don't know what it's like to
if
play with the amount of money that he
Me
plays
neither. I'll
with.
never
So
know.
I can't. I
if
can't
when you
just
lose
speak for it.
$1,
Oh my God. Oh, I
we
cannot.
we hear from you for a week. So
Oh, I'd be pissed if I miss. Yeah, for real.
But so Eve, what was your? Are you like Hady a bit mitigated on that point, or you would have liked
I
Joey
mean,
Saputo to really say, nah, we're staying here. Don't worry about it.
for me, I feel really like the fact that they are trying and trying and trying stuff to make it work makes me think that they wouldn't leave. Obviously, I think if somebody offered Joey Saputo like $1 billion and the ownership group, whatever, he'd probably entertain their conversation for sure. But I think a lot of what we're seeing this year, and I mean, it was probably an effort last year. It was just so poorly done that, it had the opposite effect. But we're seeing a lot of kind of trying to reach out so that fans do come to the stands. Like Max says, it's economics 101. Fans need to be in the stands. So I think so much of what they're doing is trying to reach those fans and trying to make sure they come back so that the club can stay, because obviously if nobody's there, then what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I'm the same way as you guys. You know, you have the feeling that Joey Saputo has no intention of selling the club, but you know, he wants to keep. I think he just wants to keep his fan base accountable a bit too, and ask them to, to make their part in it. So, one of the reasons why sometimes I say I need to buy this, I need to buy that. I want to contribute because I don't want ever to see this club leaving the city. I don't want to feel the heartbreak that the Nordique fans or the Expos fan had when the clubs left Montreal and Quebec, respectively. So I understand what Joey was doing, but really, I'm sure that in the bottom of his heart, unless like a crazy amount comes up, he doesn't have any intention of selling. But I can't say that openly because people would just take the club for granted, and I don't think Joey Saputo wants that. I think he wants to keep a bit of that anxiety and a bit of that stress on the fans to say, listen, we need to turn up because we love our club. We want to keep our club here in Montreal. So I understand that. Hady, you were after the presser by Gervais and Saputo. Wilfried Nancy and Saint-Piet were addressing media, and you were there. What came out of it?
Okay, a lot of questions on the logo,
of course.
And that's very, very, very normal.
Sucks to be them because they're not really those guys, but yeah.
Exactly. So at one point, Wilfried Nancy said something very funny, and he said, we can change logo every, it's not the logo that makes me win or lose games, so, we can have whatever logo and it's not going to change anything on our results, right? So, but he said he liked it, but he wasn't really, invested in his answers. The only thing that he said that was very interesting is that he finds himself a bit more in the logo because, he's been here with the club since 2010. And he said, I came here with my backpack and that's it. And yeah, of course, he sees, some sort of connection with the past, with what he experienced with the club since he came. But again, there wasn't a lot to say from Wilfried Nancy regarding the logo itself. The only thing that he said about a few things interesting about the game, but that we'll talk about it Sunday. Today it's more on the logo. What Saint-Piet said was the most interesting. First of all, he's like, I like the logo. And he's like, you know what? I'm aware that I said the same thing about the last logo.
Yeah, true.
But I can tell you that I find myself a lot more in this one than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. Him being very, very honest. But he's always very honest, Saint-Piet. The second thing that he said, he's like, I'm so happy that we brought the blue back.
Mm-hmm.
And, for a player to say that, and for him saying that, guys, don't forget that I'm a boy. I'm a Montreal boy, right? I'm someone that really, that I really grew with the club. And the fact that I grew with the club, I have a connection now with the past that I lived when I was younger, right? So I like that. And the last thing that he said, he's like, he was asked if he can't wait to wear the new logo for 2023, and he said, yes, I can't wait. And don't forget that also it's the new shirt. It's the new. Yeah, it's a new shirt that's gonna come. So hopefully we'll get the new shirt with the new logo that. We'll see a nice connection between the two and everything. He was kind of excited to not wear black anymore. Mm-hmm. So a few things.
Will I lift my band? Yeah.
So very interesting from Saint-Piet.
I found it clever that they chose, especially Wilfried Nancy, for sure was going to adjust the media, but Saint-Piet too, on this particular day of the logo unveiling. Wilfried Nancy, we all know, is his journey to becoming Montreal head coach. Started grassroots level in Quebec in the parks, went up the ladder
Mm-hmm.
slowly, started with the academy coaching the kids, going
Mm-hmm.
up all the way to the top job in the club, coaching wise. And Sam Piet, the local boy, the captain, and I think everyone from Quebec or almost can see himself a bit in Sam Piet in the way that he started playing grassroots level here, dreaming about playing for the clubs. Yes, he had an atypical a journey going passing by Europe, coming back, but I really like the fact that they used Sam Piet today in this particular moment, and he
Mm-hmm.
was able to give his
Yeah,
thoughts a bit like we do, like really hot, and not ask him in a week or two after a game or something,
yeah,
like on the same day. I loved it. So well done by the club. All in all, I think that today was a good day for the club, a good way to do it, and they definitely, for me, it's a hit, and it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
not a miss. The whole day, A to Z. Yeah,
yeah. And some reactions after the this announcement from the Bolos crew and from the Ultras. Both of them, I didn't see the other groups from the Cup,
Mm-hmm.
but the Ultras and the Bolos, I saw their declaration. Both of them said exactly the same thing. We've had discussions. Uh, we're thinking. We're now in a thinking period to
process.
see
Yeah,
if we're gonna come back or not.
yeah.
So
Good
it's
news.
not a complete no.
Yeah,
So that's kind of interesting.
yeah.
I like it.
So good news all in all. That's a super positive day. A sunny day on the club on this rainy day on Montreal. So really good, really good. Guys, anything to add?
No, I'm all good.
All good. So, that was an emergency episode. Kind of winged it. Thank you so much, everybody who joined. There was a lot of people in the comments who couldn't put all of your comments, but it was really nice to see all of you here, and just shows the importance and the love we have for the club and everyone that turned out to the show. It was awesome to read your comments. So take care, guys. Sunday we have our show on at 6:30. So it's back to our usual time. So until then, guys, have a great weekend, and hopefully we win against Cincy at Stade Saputo with a good crowd, and we'll be happy to on our Sunday show. Take care, everybody.